Hey everybody. So, I decided I would start reviewing Ready to Love on OWN. I watched the episode last week and I was like, okay. But sometimes, you have a good first episode and then it just starts falling apart. And honestly, for a while, I had never been sure really how I could review it because there's always so many people at the beginning. But nevertheless, I'm gonna review it. So y'all hang with me. Um, so they got rid of Demonte last week, the so-called fashion designer who didn't know what his tattoos meant after saying they were all very significant. Goodbye with them country ass suits he had on. His fashion was country and corny. Glenn, bless his heart, the teacher that got shot last week and didn't want to go through. I honestly thought he was the cutest of the bunch because they were not cute in that other group. They really weren't. They were just giving like 2000s people who attend Eddie Long's church. I of course never did. I was just knew the type that attended, and it was just like anyway. I'm talking about Demonte. But yeah, so like a lot of the other ones in that group, they're not cute. But Glenn was the cutest. He was the teacher, but he probably got nervous because teachers get blamed for everything, get fired for anything, and maybe he didn't want his students roasting him when he got back to school. I understand. All right. Nevertheless, I honestly think those ladies missed out because he was the cute one, but he probably don't know he cute. Anyway, so Vanessa, 35, she's a flight attendant. She gives me a little bit older than that for some reason. But she's interested in exploring black love. Was formerly married to a white man, even though she is raising black children. And I was just like, okay. Um, she said now she connects with people with revolutionary mindsets. And then she was like, let's not go there because I'll turn into a whole Black Panther. Okay, girl. And I can tell you, she don't know nothing about Black Panther, Black Panther. She just talking about what she thinks. Like when you just see black people in berets and guns. Don't get me started, okay? Anyway, I'm all about Black History. Black History Month is coming up. So Alonzo, 35, is an insurance adjuster. Okay, whatever. I can tell by his hair, he is not my type. Okay, but this ain't about me. I don't do beards. I don't like beards. I think they're gross. I like well kept goatees, okay, and mustaches. Cause I am like the girl last week when she was like, if a man don't have, she said if a man didn't have a beard, but I was always told, my father said you can't trust a black man without a mustache. You can't. Um, and I still think that's true. And I would tell the rest of that story, but I'm gonna let it slide for now. But yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna try to leave it there. So it wasn't Vanessa. I got her name mixed up with somebody, and she was in tech, and she was like, "I'm looking for a man who's ambitious, who has goals, who has discipline." And I was like, "Okay, so an adult." Anyway, so then we get Chaz 47, the data analyst manager. Chaz, honestly, when they first showed him, I said, "Damn, he's fine." But they just flashed across his face, and then when we get him in the confessional, I was like, "Oops." Anyway, so Maya, 30, healthcare person. Maya seems she seems sweet. Leyland, okay, she believes if you look for the good, you will attract the good. I'm just gonna be honest. I want everybody to quit pretending with this bullshit. I can't stand when people start talking like that. I automatically think you crazy. You one of them. All right. You can see the good in a person and still not attract it because that person can hate themselves and not see any of the things you see and then want to punish you for seeing it because they hate themselves. So she also wants a man who's willing to wash her hair. Just say you want to marry your hairdresser. Just say that. Or say you're willing to become somebody's beard. Because that's some dumb shit to ask for in a man. But Leyland is pulling them. She is pulling them. I mean, she is like gorgeous. And they were all very pretty. But Leyland, I mean, she's you can tell she's that girl. She's that girl. So Jonathan, who's 36, recycling center owner, whatever the hell he is, he's divorced and has a child. And he's telling us he has a lot to offer. See, women couldn't get away with presuming that, or at least presuming that and then saying it out loud without being cut down. Because that's what we do to black women. And he gives me bad vibes. I don't trust him. I don't like him. Something So can somebody explain to me how nephew Tommy, I decided to get on. I was gonna say while we on, I'm bringing it up. Can somebody tell me how nephew Tommy has made a career out of being a lame ass comedian's nephew, and then taking on his bullshit relationship advice hustle, his uncle's hustle, and hustles on it as his nephew with his grown ass at his big age. What the fuck? Them big bald headed. Ugh. Anyway, so they're cutting one of the women from this cohort on the rooftop. See, last week I felt like, you know what? Anybody could have made the decision. I felt like the women that we got introduced to on the rooftop, all of them were very beautiful. Seemed like they had a lot to offer. Had their careers, were very clear about a lot of things. I was like, they need to be the ones making the elimination because Lamar needs to go. But okay, so we get Rashina, 38, the salon owner. Lamar, who's 32. Lamar is fucking lying. Lamar is 46. Okay, he's a DJ slash coach. Lamar, you're 46. You're not 32. You're not fooling me. So he gives me asshole. He just gives me asshole. He says he's hard to be with because he's outspoken. Sir, don't pull it. Okay? Outspoken to me is good if you are supporting things like Black Lives Matter or Free Palestine, okay, in the name of decolonizing. Not just a man who runs his mouth. And he's the kind of man who runs his mouth. All right? And then we find out at the end he's been married twice. Okay. He asked if Patrice and Vanessa were spontaneous. And Vanessa was honest, like, not really. And the other girl was like, not really. He asked about skinny dipping, and she was like, is that Patrice? Yeah. Patrice was like, yeah, maybe I would do that. And he was like, asking about skinny dipping at a new beach. That conversation to me was uncomfortable, especially for a grown man. And honestly, I found it disrespectful. I think to ask women about that kind of thing, about things that involve getting naked immediately, show signs of emotional immaturity, because we know you a good 46, and it's time for you to do your colonoscopy. But I didn't like it. I found it very disrespectful. Very. All right, so, and he's toxic. Maya, okay? Jonathan is literally running up behind Maya, okay? He says his marriage ended because they had a big communication issue. I'm sure they did, Jonathan, because you give me bad vibes, but you didn't explain what the communication issue was and who really had it and why. That was a little too vague for me. Everybody says that. All right. So he said he got his courting ideas on how to date from TV, like Fresh Prince and Martin. How, Sway? How? I didn't even understand that. He didn't even follow it up like, oh, he's up here talking about how he runs the family business. And I'm presuming he should have had some kind of relationship experiences, or like have been taught certain things about women. That to me was a weird, stupid thing to say. But Maya seemed to like it. Okay. So Chaz, the data guy. He's talking to them, and Patrice brings up that she has a $30,000 machine that she bought when she went celibate, that does 32 kegels or something in a minute. I said, why would you share that? Why? Why was that something that other people needed to know? Now you've essentially, first of all, told all these men that you really don't need them for shit. Okay, which defeats the point of the show. Lie to me early on. Lie. Like, make us believe a little bit that you're looking for something. And this is why on these shows you can't help but to believe everybody's on some bullshit and looking for attention and advertisement and attention and advertisement and attention. Anyway, so Alonzo says his last relationship was a situationship. I can tell. I told you I could tell by his hair what kind of person he was. Actually, I told you I could tell I didn't like him by his hair. Just something about it just gives to me. Anyway, so Vanessa and Alonzo, they were struggling to have a conversation. They did not have a good conversation. I think personally, Alonzo lacks the ability to carry on conversation. Beyond that, he can have conversations with birds. So if you're not a bird, it's hard for him. So Chaz is spitting game with Rashina. He likes the fact that she has heels and is really feminine. And he asked about, her children and stuff like that. I felt bad. I was, it takes a lot to share what he shared, because she was asking like, why don't you have kids or whatever? Because he's 47, and I feel bad that he had a child die when they were about 6 months old, and I mean that's deeply traumatic. Losing a child at all, certainly if the child ever dies before you. And I like that he shared it and didn't act like, I don't have any kids, like I just don't have any kids, and then waited to pull that out later when a woman wasn't feeling him, as a way to kind of manipulate his way back into the game. Um, that's tough. Shout out to you, Chaz. All right. So Patrice and Alonzo are hitting it off. She said she likes them young. She's been married before, but she asked the right question. She was like, do you not want to get married, or did somebody never want to marry you? I said, oh, Patrice, you might make for good TV, honey. So then we get Rashina and Jonathan. Rashina and Patrice, I keep mixing them up. Okay. So, he asked her what she liked. And she said, a good communicator. Now, he already told us he had a communication issue in his last marriage. Jonathan was like, I see us more as brother, sister. And the way he was talking, I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? To act like, oh, you're not attracted. And it was the way he was saying it. It was not the fact that he simply wasn't attracted to her. Jonathan is not cute like that. He's not. He's not the kind of person to make you want to close your eyes ugly. But, like, he's not cute like that for him to be feeling himself that hard. Anyway, so they played a game good on paper. Why did everybody guess that Lamar lost himself trying to please his wife in his last relationship? Why did any of those unanimously, they all thought it was Lamar. Lamar, who asked about a new beach. Lamar, who was asking about threesomes. That was the conclusion all y'all's grown asses drew. Girl, bye. Okay, anyway, I never thought that. All right, so Chaz, we found out doesn't like long eyelashes scratching your face. And as far as I'm concerned, just get over it. But I remember the woman he was talking to, I think it was Rashina, and he was telling her how he really like a feminine woman, and I was just kind of like, do you really know what you like or don't like? Anyway, so then they brought up threesome, sex toys, swinging. I knew it was Lamar with his ugly ass, his old ass. He is not 32, he's 46. So they do casting clearly, and I know we know this, but I'm bringing it up anyway, based on who will be entertaining. Nobody that comes here is serious about having a relationship to make it last. I don't. I think that population is very small on all, considering all the seasons. Everybody's ever been on, that population is very small. Because a lot of people are entrepreneurs, they get advertisement for this stuff. All right, so Maya wins the game. Doesn't Maya look like the actress that played Martin's wife in Bad Boys? That's what she looks like. She's really pretty, but she's safe, so we ain't got to worry about eliminating her. Alonzo lets us know because, that he has a foot fetish. I, for the life of me, do not understand men like that. I really don't. I don't. But I mean, to each his own, but I don't. But I'm not checking for him anyway, so, I can find anything wrong, I guess. Patrice is talking to Jonathan, saying that, when I'm with you, I'm your helpmate, I'm your motivator, and I'll let you lead the way. And Jonathan was all about that. And I was like, something, I told you, something about Jonathan rubbed me the wrong way. Jonathan's controlling. Why do you have to lead? Lead us where is what you should have been asking, Patrice. And the fact that all that other stuff you said, and then it was just like, yeah, I just need to be in charge. And then he up here trying to say he got himself lost in his wife. He bullshitting. Okay, I can see through all of it. Okay, I may not know all the details, but I know you full of shit. So Chaz and Vanessa seem to hit it off. And that was cute to me because Chaz seems, a little nerdy, but they seem to like each other. And he seems like he's the kind of mature she was looking for. That's why she couldn't have good conversations with those other ones. Because they're immature and haven't come to the table with anything. Chaz is like kind of established. He seems like a really nice guy, but he was asking her like questions that I think grown adults should be having. Not childish stuff like, oh yeah, describe the kind of sex you want. You get to that, but like, come on. Anyway, So, and I'm proud of Vanessa for not being like, yeah, trying to be. If you even notice, Vanessa was even dressed like those chicks, and their dresses were nice and everything. But she was just wearing like a regular dress, just kind of doing her. And the rest of them chicks really weren't doing that. And I just like the fact that she didn't try to make herself into somebody else to be more attractive to those men. I think her and Chaz are cute. So Patricia has her guard up, as she should, a show like this. She was asking about how Jonathan would create a safe space for a woman. Was it me, or as she was describing it, she's tall, she's beautiful, and she was saying that's why it's hard for me to open up, and because men use that against you. Was it me, or did Jonathan look like, oh, whatever, every time she talked? So you can't sit up here and talk about how you had a communication issue in your marriage, and then when she starts talking about what she needs, it's just kind of like, whatever. I hate men like that. Flag on the play. All right. So I knew he was lying when he said he lost himself in that marriage. I said, this is bullshit. I lost, I was just so into my wife. Says no man anywhere. He knew that would get their attention and make them like feel sorry for him and then be like, he's really into me. Don't fall for it. So Patricia tries to question Lamar some more about that threesome thing, because I think she wanted to get his ass together about that. And she was like, if y'all really care about each other, having threesome stuff, that stuff is not going to last. Especially if they're just doing it for you, because essentially, and this is just me talking, because you're forcing that person or pressuring them, coercing them into a threesome to kind of like please you because they love you, but you're not really doing the same for them. And he responds to her by saying, oh, are you territorial? Bitch, you goddamn right. If we in a fucking relationship, I don't want you fucking somebody else. If that makes me territorial, sir, then call me that. But that was such a distorted way of it. He's a gaslighter. Anyway, and I really don't think he's straight. I don't. I don't just think he's gay, but I don't think he's straight. He gives me that. It's that Shannon Sharp vibe. That you, a grown ass man, sitting around having conversation with a bunch of grown men about what they look for in women and all this kind of stuff. And it makes me go, do you really like women? That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so the elimination part. Why did the men start talking about how they liked Maya? I was like, why are y'all giving us any camera time? Wasn't she already safe? But okay. Everybody was here for Layla. We all saw that coming. This seems like her competition to lose. I'm going to be honest. Okay? It's not her competition to win because it seems like she's already won. Okay? So she's going to have to work hard to lose. Okay? And I ain't mad. All right? Patricia and the women kind of have a powwow. They're just kind of talking. They're just getting to know each other or whatever. And I like the fact that it didn't feel catty or anything like that. They're still talking about Lamar. And Patricia brings up Lamar and his problems. And I don't blame her. Because he is a walking, talking red flag. Okay? And she pegged him right. So Vanessa felt like the men may vote her off when they were talking about, it seems like we all just got here because y'all did. And I can see having those shallow ass conversations with men and you're like, what? Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Just because there were a bunch of shallow men in the pool. But Chaz's face when somebody mentioned Vanessa going home, I could tell. I was like, oh, he ain't having that. All right, so the formal elimination. I was shocked when they brought 3 women forward and Rashina was up there. I was like, Rashina seemed to, like, why is she up there? I didn't understand that. Vanessa was safe. Patricia gets eliminated. She was disappointed when she got eliminated. And then she's saying, how she's done all the healing work. And my thing, and she's crying, she's a little upset. And it could be, the pressure of TV. But I believe you, Patricia. And these men are here to be on a TV show. They're not looking for love. So you shouldn't feel bad. And I know it doesn't feel like that in the moment. But you shouldn't feel bad about not being chosen by this sorry ass crop of men they put before you. Okay? Because let me tell you something, baby girl. You deserve better anyway. And I know you're probably one of those people who is genuinely looking for that. And that's why they don't want you around, because you're asking questions that somebody would want if they were in a relationship. You're not like Patrice talking about how you like them young and you with 2 kids at home and all this other stuff. Like, come on. Come on. Miss me. All right. So let me tell you something. There is something better for you. And let me tell you, it ain't there in that competition. So these are just my thoughts. I'm ready to love y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.